12 News Eye on Agriculture with Britton Rucker.
Farm income skyrocketing, but it's not just higher prices driving the surge. The reason behind the record-breaking boost next. And with the recent snow, many livestock producers now looking ahead to their next challenge, mud. We speak with an expert on things you should keep in mind to keep your herd happy and healthy. Good evening. Welcome into Eye on Agriculture. I'm Britton Rucker. U.S. farm income is set to surge this year, largely due to massive increases in government payments. According to the USDA, net farm income projected to hit over $180 billion, up $41 billion from last year, while net cash farm income will reach nearly $194 billion. The biggest driver, a staggering 345% jump in government payments, soaring from $9.3 billion in 2024 to $42.4 billion this year. Most of that coming from $35.7 billion in disaster and economic aid approved by Congress. Despite rising costs in labor and livestock, overall farm expenses are expected to decline slightly. While this financial boost strengthens farm operations, concerns remain about the long-term stability of government support programs. U.S. pork exports set new records in 2024, reaching $8.63 billion in value, up 6% from the previous high in 2023. Total volume hit just over 3 million metric tons, surpassing the 2020 record. U.S. Meat Export Federation president says market diversification for the boost and growth, boosting export values to $66 per head slaughtered. December exports totaled over 267,000 metric tons, with a value up to 1% to just over $771 million. Key markets include Mexico, Central America, and the Asia-Pacific region, helping drive the record-breaking year. Now, the president says the pork industry is well positioned for continued growth in 2025. A blood testing of large animal veterinarians suggests the bird flu may be spreading more widely than current capturing and testing is saying. That's according to a new study by federal state disease detectives. Testing found some vets were exposed to bird flu even though they didn't treat animals known to be infected. It's one of 3 studies delayed after President Trump issued a pause on outside communication from health agencies last month. The other studies have yet to be released. Since March 2024, there have been 68 confirmed H5N1 infections in humans. All but 3 had known exposures to animals. Lawmakers addressing a major concern for Kansas farmers. It is as the closure of USAID threatens the future of the Food for Peace program. Through that program, Kansas farmers sell surplus crops in an effort to combat international hunger. In doing so, the program has fed more than 4 billion people in more than 150 countries. Now, Kansas Congressman Tracy Mann says he and other lawmakers are introducing legislation to keep the program running.
My goal is some introducing legislation that would move it out of USAID, but I'd like to see this agency moved over to, or this program moved over to the USDA. They're better equipped to provide better accountability and oversight for Food for Peace to make sure that this program goes to the people that need this help and prevent them from dying.
Food for Peace was founded by a Kansan back in 1952 and signed into law by former President Dwight D. Eisenhower. It's something Representative Mann hopes to keep going by getting it under the USDA's supervision. Still ahead on Eye on Agriculture, February marks 2 years after 7 farm workers were killed in a workplace shooting in California. The attack exposing shocking living conditions. So, have the promised changes been made? Kenny Choi investigates ahead on Eye on Agriculture.